Aurora, for being here and, sharing with us things that's going to help us make better choices and better steps, as I know many of us here on the line are considering, starting a business, and then maybe whether it be a home-based business or whatever, but just really getting the right information so we can make better choices and not get ourselves in a sticky situation that we got it started. So I thank you so much for being willing to share with us some of this information. Thank you.
I want to say one more thing before Aurora you get started. Y'all would need this.
Yo, pen and paper,
A
y'all.
pad and pen. You will need a pad and pen
I
because,
got mine. I got mine. I got my
yeah,
pen. I
get
got
a
my
pad
pen.
and pen because when she say, you can say, hold on, say that again, and start writing it down. So, class is in session. You better have your
Yes.
pen and pads because we're going to hand it over to Miss Aurora Day.
Okay,
We
great.
ready.
Everybody knows I'm Aurora, and Sister Delicia is a part of my Facebook group, and it's called Go From Sole Proprietor to CEO. And I do some teachings in that group when I have time to really do some real financial teaching. And I recently did a teaching that Delicia actually fell in love with, and she asked me to speak more about it here with you all today, because we do know that in our culture, we don't have a heritage of wealth. And that is because we don't have the information that other cultures have been privileged to obtain from small children, okay? So I am the first millionaire in my family. I'm the first individual in my family ever to earn 7 figures, ever to have a multi-million-dollar company, ever to step out and do something that would create that type of wealth. Now, at the time that I created that wealth, I did not know that I was a millionaire. I did not know that I was going to become a millionaire. What I knew is that I was a single mother with 2 children, and my son had special needs that prevented me from really going to work because he could never stay anywhere. He got kicked out of every place I ever put him, and I decided then that I had to do something of my own. Little did I know, I was so good at what I did, I started making a lot of money. So like within the first 6 months of me starting my first business, I made my first 6 figures. And I bought a small home. I bought a home for $174,000, okay? Well, that pissed off a lot of family members because who am I? Who am I to be able to buy a home, to be able to create a business where I would make that kind of money to buy a home and to now begin to homeschool my children? And after that, the company grew, the business grew, I got mentoring, and I made my first 7 figures, okay? Well, why did I do that? Because now everybody hates you, and now you can afford to do the things that you really wanted to do for yourself and your children. And you're not saying anything to people, but people are watching this. Now, the interesting thing that was happening at that time is that because I was unaware of the tax laws, I was paying a lot of taxes. And as you can imagine, the more money you make, the more money you're going to pay in taxes if you do not know how to operate properly in commerce. Well, long story short, thank you, Delicia. Long story short, I went through a very turbulent situation. I was living in the South. I didn't check in with the gatekeeper. I didn't belong to a church. They couldn't tell what my ethnicity was. They were looking at my children. We're not sure if she's a nigger or a nigger lover. Let's get her. Okay. Yeah. So I went through a whole heck of a lot. At the time that this situation took place, I had a major deal for international distribution of a product that I was selling already nationally, but I was not selling it internationally. And it was an 8-figure deal. I had to file a bankruptcy because of a crooked contractor on a project. It was horrible. But there was a company that said, well, you've already spent a lot of money, you've invested a lot of money, we want to help you. I had to continue with it, else I would have been caught into a breach of contract, which would have put me in more financial debt, okay? But that ended up being my saving grace. That was my saving grace, and along with some foreign currencies, because at the time I was investing in foreign currencies. So when I had to leave my home and all these other things, I was surviving. I took all that foreign currency and I exchanged it. So I had a little over $20,000 in USD because of the foreign currency. So I was able to still be out here doing my thing, but I did not have a home. I didn't have a place. It really wasn't until the people who gave me the contract to continue the product internationally said, the thing is going so well. And now that you have been discharged from this bankruptcy, we want to now renegotiate so that you can now take ownership of what you created. Okay. So now that put me back at, you know, the mid 7-figure mark. And this, you're experiencing the starting over, right? So as I'm starting over now, I have to implement these strategies that I shared with the Facebook group, okay? These strategies simply because now you're not going to give away your money. You're not going to give your money away. And you're not going to get into some of the horrible, we always hear about these celebrities who get into these horrible contractual agreements. It's very, very real because you're not being told what they know. They don't want you to know what they know because then you'll be where they are, okay? So Delicia made this beautiful slide, so I'm gonna start talking about the cash. Now the cash, what happens is that, and go to the next slide, Delicia, so I can really explain it. Because I think, okay, here it is. Here it is. This was the mistake that I made and that I help people who are ready to make their first 7 figures. If you've never made your first 7 figures, I'm the 7-figure queen. I can tell you how to make 7 figures every 30 days, okay?
Okay.
You ready, Ray?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm ready.
Okay. So most people, like Michelle said, she's making masks, okay? The issue is that you're still under the employee status. How are you under the employee status? Whenever we start something, you're going to people who are filing taxes because if you don't file a tax return, they cannot get paid. So they're not going to tell you that you're filing it incorrectly. They're not going to tell you how to now get yourself out of the employee status. Because as I said last week, who is an employee? Someone who has earned income, and that is to the Internal Revenue Service taxes.
Right.
Someone who's going to sit up there and say, oh, I earned some income today. And they're going to say, okay, you want half of it, okay? Now, when you're in the employee status, you're paying 40% tax. No matter how it shakes out, no matter how many dependents you have, it doesn't matter. You're paying 40% taxes on whatever you earn. So these people who earn $80, $90, $100,000 a year are paying 40% of that money to the Internal Revenue Service, and that has nothing to do with the state tax that they pay.
Okay.
That's federal, okay? So the more money you make, the more you're gonna pay in taxes if you continue to be in the employee status, okay? Now, when you come out and say you're gonna do a venture like Michelle's doing mask and she's probably doing other things, she's more than likely still filing a 1040 saying that she's self-employed or saying that she has a small business. But what you're really saying is, I'm still an employee. But when you add the self-employment or small business status to your 1040, now you pay 60% taxes, no matter how it shakes out, in addition to 16% self-employment tax, in addition to whatever state taxes are required in your state. Okay?
That's a lot.
So you're paying, go ahead, Ray.
Yes, Aurora, could you please repeat that? Because I got to get that again because I got it. I'm like, did I miss something? I want to make sure I got it again. Could you, could you repeat it?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Because I heard something, I'm like, wait a minute, that's it. And then when I realized on that, you said something else. And I said, what did you just say? That's what happened. So
yes, self-employment. A lot of people like to say, I'm self-employed. And they're saying, you know, I'm an independent contractor. They're gonna get 1099. they're driving Uber, they're driving Lyft, they're doing DoorDash, okay? You name it. Did they go to a company as an independent contractor? These are people that we refer to as self-employed professionals, okay? Or 1099 independent contractors.
Mhm.
Well, they are still filing a 1040, which makes them an employee.
Employee. Right.
Correct. However, once you let a tax preparer put down self-employment or small business, now you're in the 60% tax bracket.
Okay.
Right.
That's yes.
Okay?
Okay.
That's
Yes.
how you get there. So they add on another 20% because they're recognizing that you're still an employee, but you're trying to have a business status. So that's how they come up with the 60%. And then if you allow them to check the box that says self-employed, they tack on 16 more percent. Yes.
Wow.
And then you're going to pay the state if you're doing whatever it is you're doing in that state.
Right. State
So
tax.
at the end of the day, you're paying about 70% taxes to say that you are self-employed or a small business owner.
That's
That's
okay.
great.
What I'm hearing is like that's 25% from 100%.
That is correct.
That don't sound right. That
That's yeah,
I'm talking about people are just getting got.
correct. Correct.
Got that.
And this is what I kept saying to the tax preparer for my company. Why is it that I'm paying so much money? What's going on here that I'm paying so much money? And then he would whip out the publications and say, because this is how we're classifying you. But he would never tell me how to classify myself correctly so that I could come away from this.
Get that damn
Okay,
foot off your back.
Correct.
That's right. That's yeah.
Correct. Right? Now, when the situation turned back around, when the situation started turning back around, a gentleman named Abe Washington contacted me. And he said, listen, I've been following you for 12 years. He said, I want to help you because you got the business that I tried to get my wife to do for the past 12 years. She just would not do it. He said, I knew eventually they were going to come after you. That was only a matter of time. So now I'm going to show you exactly how to conduct your business so that you can stop paying taxes 100% legally. I said, are you telling me that I can make millions of dollars tax-free? He said, that's the way the world works every day. It's in your tax code. He said, and I'm going to teach you. Okay? So he told me what books to start getting. He told me to start reading Robert Kiyosaki books. He said, Robert Kiyosaki is the king of the cash flow quadrant. And I'm going to show you how the wealthy people move. I said, okay. This man does, he helps to operate businesses for the NASCAR drivers, NBA, NFL. That's the level this man is on. And he happened to live in the town that I had one of my gyms in, okay? So when you're in the business category, now, when you can claim that you have a bona fide business, now you're paying 20% or less tax. Most major businesses with 500 employees or more pay zero tax. And they're paying zero tax because they create corporations where there's a double taxation going on. Once on the corporate level, and then again on the shareholder level. Well, how they avoid the corporate tax is they push everything through to the shareholders, so the shareholder can say, well, I want to claim that I gained a profit or I lost money, and I'm going to file a 1040. As long as they have a shareholder doing that, they don't pay any tax. Okay?
Wow.
So that's how companies like Amazon, okay, we can name them, pay zero tax. And by the time they do their filing, the IRS is issuing them a check. Why? Because they participate in a lot of programs. They participate in the Social Security program. They participate in workforce programs that employ minorities. They participate in programs that employ people with felonies, okay? So they get credits for all of these things. So at the end of the day, they end up paying 20% or less tax, depending on how large the company is, all right?
Okay.
Now, the other way that you come away from
Oh, it's just getting good and you froze up. Aurora, it was just getting real good and you froze up.
Okay, you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Am I back? Okay.
Yeah.
The other way that you pay zero tax is when you come down to the investor. Okay? Is that a Marty?
Let me see. It's somebody. Yes, it is. It is somebody. He say being at 7:30. Every time I try the Zoom account, it tells me I'm blocked for 30 minutes. So I'm going to have to wait 30 minutes before I try again. Okay. I'm gonna tell him this. Try
You're
to reset
recording.
your password.
Okay.
So he say 30 minutes.
Okay. So,
You're recording, so he won't miss anything. Okay. So when you come down to the investor, you pay 0% tax. You pay 0% tax. Now, Ms. Aurorah pays 0% tax. And how Ms. Aurorah pays 0% tax? Part of the products that are selling internationally fall under the business heading. The company that I use is an anonymous entity. So nobody knows who runs the company. Nobody knows who's inside of the company. It's just a company that is collecting millions of dollars. That millions of dollars flows through to another entity that is making investments. Now, the Internal Revenue Service tells us that if you are operating through a pass-through tax entity, the burden of taxation falls on whomever is going to make a claim that they either earned some money or they lost some money.
Right.
Well, who's there to make a claim? No one.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, and I just didn't make it so I can know I'm getting this. And the ones who gonna be to make the claim that they lost or gained something would be the shareholders and investors.
Okay. Let's start with the limited liability company.
okay, LLC.
Go ahead, Delicia.
You said LLC?
Correct.
Okay.
So I'm the B. I'm the business, right?
Okay.
Right.
I'm the business. I have an invisible limited liability company. And what that means is that there's no members on record. There's no employees on record. All the public knows is that the company exists. All the bank knows is that there's a manager. There's a manager who has 0% ownership over this company. 0%. That's what the bank knows, okay? When that money comes into that bank account, that company makes an investment. So I shared last week that one of the investments is an RV park. Okay?
Yes.
Now the RV park makes money every day.
Okay.
Okay? The money from the RV park is now going towards another investment. Now,
Okay.
you understand?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
as long as I am flowing the money through to make an investment, I don't pay any taxes. All the while, because I manage the bank accounts, I have the right by law to take what is considered a draw, D-R-A-W.
DRAW.
Correct. That is a legal accounting equation that states that if you manage a limited liability company or corporation, you have the right to utilize the monies the way you see fit without having to be on a payroll or consider yourself an employee, because the employee pays taxes.
I get it. It hit me in the head. It
Yes.
finally hit me in the head.
Yes.
Okay.
So now the business controls everything. So rent got to be paid, the business pays. The car got to have gas, the business pays. We got to have food in here, the business pays. The dog got to get groomed because the dog is a part of the business pays. Okay? You have access to all of the funds as the manager, tax-free legally. And all of the monies that are made are invested in other income producing projects and assets, and the cycle continues. And that is how you're going to gain tax-free wealth. However, if you stay in the employee and the self-employed and small business, that's why the PPP was for small businesses with 500 employees or less, okay? You're being taxed to death, okay? When you come over to the right side and become the real business and the real investor, you pay zero tax legally.
I finally get it. I see it.
Okay. And well, here's the question that I have. Just say, okay, the bona fide business, as you said, starting the LLC, we have one business going. Now, record-wise, like what things have to occur? Is it just managing the funds, or but there does have to be a point where there's an investment somewhere where there's money being transferred? Is that what you're saying?
Okay, when you start the limited liability company, as you know, I always tell the group about how to properly construct that limited liability company in the proper state. Like, you can't do it in California because California is income taxed and there's no privacy enactments. So you have to give them a biannual report of everybody in your company and everything that you got going on, okay? Right. So you can't play this game in California like this. You can't do it.
So you would have to file in another state then?
Correct.
Okay.
You want to be anonymous. So you're going to create this limited liability company that can be used internationally the way that I do it. Okay? Can be used internationally.
Wow.
Right? Mm-hmm. Now, you're removing yourself from being an employee. You're no longer an employee. You are now operating a bona fide limited liability company, and the signature card at the bank is going to clearly state that you have 0% ownership. You are just the manager, because remember, the name of the game is to own nothing but to control everything.
Oh, wow. Hold on. Wait a minute. I just like that. I like that. I'm liking this.
No, I you know what? Honestly, it's so funny. The light bulb really just came on. I really, really do understand what you're saying. So by trying to attempt to do this in California, it would never work.
No, unless you were operating via a trust, and then I wouldn't house the trust there, because again, California has income tax. There's 5 states that don't, and I would choose one of the 5 states to actually administer the trust, so that you don't have, the trust itself is 100% tax exempt anyway, okay? Right. But if you are administering that trust and you're actually working through that trust in a state that does have income tax, when income comes in that account, the trustee would be responsible for either passing that money through to the beneficiary so that it's tax-free, or saying, okay, we earned some income, we're gonna file a 1041. No trustee is gonna do that.
Okay.
I get it.
Well, does everybody understand that, or does anybody have any questions before she segments into the next?
I muted some people, so I'll unmute people. So if anybody got any questions,
I have one question. My question, well, I'm glad I didn't start no business in California, because I sure was thinking about starting one. Mm-hmm. Does that apply with the what is that? What is that? Nonprofit? Is that includes nonprofit business?
Okay. When you say nonprofit, remember that nonprofit is profit.
Right.
And no one's going to create a nonprofit to not make money. No one. When you say nonprofit, 9 times out of 10, you want to ask the Internal Revenue Service for a tax exemption.
Mm-hmm.
When you ask the Internal Revenue Service for a tax exemption, it is mandatory that you complete what is called a 990 every year, and you have a $5,000 spend down every year. So at the end of the year, you have to have no more than $5,000 in that nonprofit's bank account. They want to know that you did whatever it is you said you was going to do with that nonprofit. So to operate a nonprofit, you've got to have all your I's dotted and your T's crossed. You don't have the freedoms that you have when you operate correctly in commerce. Okay? Wealthy people don't do nonprofit. They do foundation.
Mm.
Okay?
What's the difference?
Okay, here's the difference. A foundation is more than likely going to be a trust.
Mm.
Okay? So the Red Cross,
Yeah, they are.
that's a trust.
It's a trust.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? But they hold events every year and collect donations.
Yes.
And they tell you to give to the Red Cross Foundation. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
But they are a trust. And they get to collect millions of dollars tax-free without having to complete that 990.
Yeah.
Okay?
Oh.
Okay. Well, see, that's a 9-day difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So,
Mm.
so if it just
Thank
say,
you, Aurora Day.
You
yeah,
are.
no,
That helped me a lot.
now
Hey,
my tongue
hey.
is like, ah.
Hey, wait, hey. Well, hold on. I got to give her some love.
Oh yeah. Right. No,
Give
right.
her some love.
Oh
Wow.
my gosh. Okay, so here's my question. Just like the type of work that I do, which would lie to me would be more of ministry of helps, consultation and things like that. Like, but what way would I file? Would I do LLC or how would and I think I'm just trying to understand what would be the best case scenario. Just say for someone like me that would be, doing healing workshops and things like that.
Okay, you've got a tag team situation going on there.
Right.
Because as you know, Miss Aurorah is a 7-figure queen, right? So that means that if you're trying to do something that would be considered tax exempt, you need a public and a private organization that works in conjunction together. Why? Because you're going to be selling things that would be considered unbusiness related income. So if you're selling things that have nothing to do with the purpose of the workshop and all of that, that's unrelated to the purpose of your private entity, which is probably going to be some form of a ministry, right?
Right.
Okay. Now, the Internal Revenue Service tells us that if you just say you're a church, you're 100% tax exempt. You don't need to ask us for anything. But we want you to follow the rules. And the rules state, if you got a religious or spiritual purpose, we'll let you collect millions of dollars all over the world, tax-free, via offerings and donations. We want you to give a receipt to everybody who gives you more than $250 so that they have the right to claim it on their taxes. However, if you start selling books, jewelry, tea, cake, that's unrelated to the business and you're gonna be taxed on it. So now how do you still do that and not be taxed? That's where your public entity comes in that is a pass-through. So now your public entity is going to collect the monies for the sales of those things.
Right.
Okay.
Delicia has legal management over those funds. Delicia is not an employee of that company. She gets to take a drawer tax-free. She can do whatever the heaven she wants with the money. And then she can pass it through to the actual tax-exempt entity where the ministry is running. Why? Because the ministry—
And then write that off then, right?
Repeat?
Would I be able to write off, just say if I were to make a donation to our biz, Ray and I, our entity? if I made a donation from my
Company.
Public company.
from the public company, and I'm just saying I made a donation and I wanted to give it to our company as
Private company.
a private company.
Right.
Is that legal?
That's
Yeah.
100% legal, but you just said something that a poor person would say. Can I write it off? Poor people file 1040s, rich people do not.
Okay.
All right. Upgrade. Let's go.
They don't sign nothing.
Right.
So they have nothing to sign, or is there something they need to sign?
Correct, because they don't own anything. The moment you take ownership, you're paying taxes.
Yes, you're right.
The moment you own something, you pay tax on it. So here's an example. I don't own that car out there. The trust owns it. I don't pay no registration. I don't do none of that stuff. The trust has the responsibility to pay them people $86 every year to get that little sticker.
Right.
I don't have nothing to do with that. You see? I don't own.
I do. I really see it.
So if somebody want to come after Miss Aurorah, all they could get is my dog, because I'm invisible.
Because you don't own anything.
Correct.
Right.
I don't own nothing. I just have control over all of the assets that belong to the companies and the trusts.
Yeah.
I get to use everything. And I get to walk around in the sun with the dog all day long, and my neighbors say, "What do you do?" That's what I get to do. Yeah.
I say, and wow, this
This is an eye opener.
yes,
It is. It really is.
I really feel that this right here is the start of the new paradigm.
Yes.
This is the kind of information that we need, and
Yes.
people like us who now we got to do is just implement it, take this stuff and apply to what we love to do.
Yes.
Thank you for this. I really get
Oh my
this.
God. Thank you. I was gonna say, and then I guess the whole point is like, I guess the bottom line, it just depends on where one wants to be in this game.
Yes.
And really that's what I'm hearing right now. It's like, oh, right, you can do this way, but basically you actually are giving us a real big jump of understanding
Right.
on how to do this in a way where it doesn't end up being a liability. Because
Correct.
I've heard so many nightmares, and I think that's one of the reasons why I had hesitated to come out of sole proprietorship.
Yes.
Okay, and then another part of it is, and if you're and I want to just say, I know you know what you're talking about because this is what you do, but
Yes.
it's so true. It's like anytime that you're making extra money, just say I'm making jewelry and I'm selling it on the side, and I have to use that when I file my 1040 because now everything is recorded through Square and all that other stuff, so the records are
Right.
there. So
Right.
you might not turn them in and say, hey, I ain't gonna turn this in, but you may be sadly mistaken and get something from the Internal Revenue Service in the mail down the road because all that stuff is recorded.
In your own name.
In your own name. Right. And
That's
I was
a
gonna say, and then I just want to just make emphasis too of why I agree with what you're saying right now too, for myself. That way if somebody tries to come after you and sue you or trying to, how some people get a wind that, oh, well, this person got this and they try to come after you and sue you, then they wouldn't be able to sue you because, again, you own nothing like what you're saying.
Correct. And if you're running that type of business, you have to have the correct type of liability insurance, okay? So you need a regular liability insurance policy. When you and Ray go out and do those events where you're having tea and cake and you're feeding people, you need to get a liability policy to hold those events. Because remember when old girl got stung she had the reaction from the nuts and all that?
Right. Yeah.
If she was a stranger, she had cause to sue.
Right.
And that would have been bad because there was no company that had a license to bring that food, okay? So if you had liability insurance and it was a stranger, all they could have gotten was what the insurance policy was gonna pay out. They weren't gonna get anything from you. And that's why the insurance is there, okay? So like I have products that sell internationally. I have to have product liability insurance and I have key man insurance because I am the one with the trade secret. I'm the one that created the products that make them run. If something happened to me, nobody can do a doggone thing because I'm the creator.
Right.
So with my key man insurance, if I'm incapacitated, they still got money to run until such time that they can't run anymore. You see what I'm saying? So that's how you really bring in the whole asset protection and play on the level that all the wealthy people do. When they get sued, they really don't lose anything because they have these elaborate insurance policies, okay? So for example, we have Disney World because Walt Disney had a whole life insurance policy. And when they told him, if you want to come to Florida and do all that big stuff, you got to buy half the town and you need a fire department and a police station. He said, no problem. He called up his insurance company. They said, no problem, Mr. Disney, we'll cut the check. He got the money tax free. Don't have to pay it back. Okay? That's what whole life insurance does for you. We have Pampered Chef because the woman called up her whole life insurance company and said, I want to start a company. I need $100,000. No problem. They cut the check. She started Pampered Chef. Warren Buffett now owns it. The list goes on. I could tell you about most companies out here that are here today because of their whole life insurance policies. So this is where we get on the other people's money. And Delicia had that on the slide. So let me get on to that now that we're here.
I just want to welcome in another last guest. Reverend Monty has chimed in. And
Hey.
and
I'm glad
another,
to be here. It was a struggle, but I made it.
Okay. Oh, there you are. Okay.
okay.
Yo.
My other question is, Aurora, which slide you want? This one or the first one?
It's that one. Other people's money, the third check mark on there.
All right, got you.
So that's I'm just letting everybody know that we're about to talk about other people's money, but you can go back to the quadrant. Okay. So this is recorded, Amadi, so you can get the recording and go back to the top. Because I'm going to start some stuff that you'll have to chime in and ask questions, okay?
No problem.
Now, the mistake that a lot of people make when they start business, there's a myth that says your job is your first investor. Well, the truth is that your job is your first oppressor. Okay, because as long as you go to somebody's job, you don't have time to build your own thing.
That's the truth.
Yeah, you don't.
Exactly.
Not really.
Okay.
It's so hard.
Okay, and you don't have the resources to really make your business run. All right. So what has to happen is this. You're going to start your entity like we discussed. We're going to start that entity and we're going to build that entity out. We're going to start building business credit. We're going to start building business credit.
Okay.
Why? You're going to get more money from your company than you will as an individual. Why? Because the individual is a taxpayer. And as long as you're a taxpayer, credit card companies are not going to extend a whole lot of credit to you because they see that your paycheck is not growing. Your paycheck is not growing. So your personal creditor is only going to extend up to what they feel you are at a risk level. So if you make $50,000 a year, the credit card company already knows how much credit they're going to extend to you at any given time because your paycheck is not increasing. All right. The company always has the opportunity to increase income. The company always has an opportunity to increase income. And the financial institutions are aware of this. Where do they get the data? Your banking institution. So this is why, and Delicia knows, I teach all of my clients to run everything through their business account. I don't care what it is, because the bank every 3 months is now looking at that account. And the bank says, wow, this company that made $100,000 every 30 days. They must make money, because every time there's money in there, they use the money to give loans and trade stocks and bonds. So they make money off your money, okay? So now they're saying, well, this company is making some real money. Let's ask them if they want to help us make some more money. they're going to extend to you a line of credit. Okay, now I can go out there and get whatever company I want started. I could go out there and pay in full my whole life insurance policy. So I get a $750,000 life insurance policy, and I can pay it. So this way, when I need to use it, it has earned money, because what is that policy doing? It's trading. It's earning interest, right? So
Right.
now when I go to tell them that I need some money, they cut me a check. That wasn't my money. That's other people's money. That
Right.
now I have to do what I need to do. And because the bank extended me a line of credit, I got 90 days to start to repay the line of credit. That's other people's money. It's not my money, okay? So the mistake that a lot of people make when they start businesses, they use their own money. They're taking money from their rent, the light bill, all kind of stuff. They're doing overtime. What's happening? They're paying more tax. And that's it.
Right.
They're paying more tax, okay?
Wow.
So the key to tapping into other people's money is to be the B in the I with an entity that has now been built up to the point where it stands on its own, and it has afforded you 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 whole life insurance policies. This is how the game is played. You get multiple whole life insurance policies. You have multiple legal entities, and you build those entities up. Now all those entities are running 7 figures on a cycle. You haven't worked a day. You quit that, that's over. You ain't going anywhere.
Wait a minute. I heard that. You know what? You gotta hold on pause. I gotta take that in seriously. Wait a minute. I'm in awe right now. Go ahead. I just have to swallow that.
Yeah, and that's all because you did one right thing. You started a legal entity, and you gave it the credentialing to stand on its own. Now it's working for you. Now it's working for you. And now other people are giving you their money to go out there and make some more money. Now you're operating properly in commerce, and now all you do all day is make phone calls, check on your property. Yeah, okay. You check on whatever you're doing internationally, because it's all moving online. You don't need a storefront, because that's a hell in a handbasket with a bib on. Now you've gained financial freedom. You've gained financial freedom. So that's the whole deal with how you're going to tap into other people's money. That is called secured entrepreneurship.
Okay.
Okay. That's what it is. That means now I'm just a conduit. My energy, I lent my energy to the entities. That's all I did. My energy that held the wisdom, the intellect, the information. And I let that energy go and flow so that I can live my best life. And my lifestyle is different from your lifestyle. I want to travel with the dog the way I want to travel with the dog. So I have the means to make sure he has a seat on the plane. They don't like it, but he's my emotional support animal. He has to have a seat. That's what I like. You like nature. You might go out there and do what I did. You might do an RV park that has a big old store, a golf course. Now you can make them however you want to make them, okay? Everybody, it's going to be different for everybody, but it starts like this. Any person that you know who has anything, also, Rolls Royce, Bentley, all that, ain't nobody paying for that. These companies are paying for those cars. All these people are operating out of these entities that have credit, and then the company can go and get that car, okay? The company can go and get that mansion, and the individuals
Could live in
are not liable for any of it. And when they're ready to move on to the next thing, it's for sale, it's for lease, and the company has control over it. No individual owns it, okay? Now, if you really like a property, then now you have the company pay for it, and you create a trust deed, and now the trust has ownership over it so that it could go to your heirs tax-free estate
Whoa.
tax free, probate free. Nobody bothers it. Nobody touches it. And nobody knows who owns it. All they know is it belongs to a trust company. There's a trustee. That's all we know.
Okay. Okay. I need to give you some love. No, this is some powerful stuff. I feel this. And I'm
can
seeing
tell.
it being
You guys.
created just by
Yes.
the missing parts that you're saying.
Yes.
This is great.
Yes.
And all this you're saying, I heard before. Because I heard people say that this there's a trust that own this building.
Correct.
No, being in organizing field for my job, we hear about a lot of these things, and the biggest thing is that when we realize that apartment building own the trust, it's
Yeah.
difficult to get some change done in that building
Yes. That's
unless
correct.
we have to go to another avenue because
Yeah.
there is no person.
Correct.
It's just the person who controls the trust.
That's it.
Yeah.
And
Okay, you got it.
good luck finding that person.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's right. Oh my gosh. Okay, you know what? This
Love for that.
honestly,
Love for that.
this is really
Really
serious.
love for that.
I just want to. Oh my God, I'm still in awe right now. Like I'm honestly, Aurora, the light bulb is like on. Like I totally see it, and I get it better than I did before, if that makes sense. Because there was definitely more, to this conversation, and gaining this understanding. Because otherwise, you're just really chasing your tail, not
Correct.
really knowing anything, and if
No,
nobody,
no,
go ahead, though.
no. I'm just right with you. I feel you. Cause you're finna say not knowing the real
No,
information.
right, not knowing. And I just want to just say that. And then here's what I want to ask. Like, what are the first steps, just say, that we would need to take, or anybody here that on this call that would be interested in pursuing this? What would be the first? I know we need to have a personal conversation, a consultation time with you, but like, what are some of the key things that you would need to consider when making this type of choice?
The very first thing is that you have to change your mind.
That
Now,
is there.
Yes, because
Yeah, I feel that.
there's
Yes.
a lot of people who they believe that they're supposed to pay taxes. That's number one. But if you study the Internal Revenue Service tax code, there's no place, no publication that tells you that you legally have to pay taxes, right? Now, they also tell you how to legally avoid taxation in every publication. They tell you. You can legally avoid taxation, but you cannot legally evade taxation. So if you are creating taxable events, then you must pay tax, okay? Now, because you got so many people who fear the Internal Revenue Service because they've never read a publication, they don't know what the tax laws are, okay? They are very afraid of this information, and they'll never come down this road because they think they're going to go to jail and all this nonsense, okay? And anytime somebody wants to pursue you to harm you, they sick the Internal Revenue Service on you, because 9 times out of 10, maybe you did earn some money and sneak it under the mattress. You see what I'm saying? This is what's going to happen when you don't operate properly in commerce. So I would say the very first step is, like I had to do with my mentor, he had to tell me several times, Aurorah, you're not doing anything illegal. You're not doing anything illegal, okay? Then I had to go all the way to my other mentor who's in Scotland. And I don't know how many people on the line know who this man is. His name is Dan Pena. He's a trillionaire, okay? He's a Mexican man whose family made him pass for white because he's a blonde-haired, blue-eyed Mexican. I had to go to his castle in Scotland and be under this man for 3 days. And he told me just why he don't live in the United States. He said, I couldn't be a trillionaire in the United States. He said, I don't care what I did. I couldn't be a trillionaire because once people know you got companies that are doing all of this, they're after you. They're going to try to find something. So he operates in Scotland with that kind of money. And he had to go over all the tax laws with me. And we had to do a refresher. Trump did a favor for all the companies. Now, it used to be 35% corporation tax. Now it's 20% corporation tax. So he did what he said he was going to do as far as that's concerned, to try to get companies back in the United States, because he said he going to make the place great again, all that hoopla, okay? Dan Pena had to go over all the tax law with me and confirm that I wasn't doing anything illegal. He kept telling me, there's nothing for you to be afraid of. You're doing everything the way they tell you you can do it. And as long as you keep doing everything the way they tell you can do it, you are all right. So see, even I had to change my mind, because all my life, you come from working class people, you got to file your taxes. Now I'm a millionaire, I got to file some taxes. And I had to have my two mentors say, you're in the club, baby. You're in the 1% club. And the 1% club don't pay no taxes.
Right.
I had to learn that. So I would say that's the first thing that people need. If you're really trying to build wealth, if you're really trying to create a business, because what you have to understand is that this is beyond one small thing. Because the way I teach people how to make money is high ticket sales. So you can't sell anything under $2,500. You cannot sell anything under $2,500. Okay?
Wow.
So you have to create so much value that maybe you only need 5 clients a month to make $100,000, to which you can do over
Oh
and
my
over.
gosh. And you know what? And I have to tell you, and even in doing just say ministry related work, whether it's a workshop or helping someone heal or whatever, you know, you don't, it's like you can really only deal with a few people, because that would really be too much.
Correct.
And especially if you're not even charging in proportion to the true value of what you're bringing to the table.
Correct.
And, you know, and so, you know, I know that I personally have had challenges with the idea of like, oh, you know, the average person, you know, can't pay, you know, this amount of money, you know, but I would want to help them. But I'm hearing what you're saying. And so maybe by having those type of clients, like you said, like 5 high ticket paying clients, you know, making that type of money per month, then you can help other people freely, so to speak, if you choose to. But but then it's time to really kind of believe the true value of yourself and align with that, and continue on, because I've had guilt with that part of it. Changing my mind, like what you're saying.
Correct. Okay, so Brother Ray,
Yes.
what now is happening is that when you put your company together, you know that you're gonna go one or two routes, all right? You're gonna get a little bit of money from a lot of people, or you're gonna get a lot of money from a few people. There's only 2 ways to go, okay? So you have to pick a business model, to which I do 2 things. So I have products that are base price that are selling in retail stores. The store does the work for me. They do all the advertising. People come in there, they see my stuff on the shelf. I run a small advertisement on the cable channel, the channel where you see all the channels running up. I got a little ad. I don't spend that much money, because the store is doing that for me, because I'm paying for distribution. That's what I'm spending money on, to distribute that product to these stores so they can be sold, right? So I'm getting a little bit of money out of a whole lot of people. And then I have my consulting practice, where I get a lot of money out of a few people. Now, when I do work with one of the attorneys, each client is 10 grand down, or 12 grand. If they come to Vegas or VIP, which you do at the Four Seasons, they gotta pay me $12,000. And they're gonna get 2 days of my time for $12,000. They're gonna get breakfast, lunch, dinner. They get the hotel stay. They get a nice car to pick them up from the airport, take them back. You know what I'm saying? And they've paid $12,000 for my time. They get to ask me whatever questions. I put a whole estate plan together for them. I set their companies up within the 2 days. That's $12,000, okay? Do that 3 times in a week.
You good.
What more do you need, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good for you. Good for a year.
Okay. All right. So 3 times in a week, that's $36,000. Okay, $36,000. Tack that on to all the other monies that's being made in the week. So now, in the 30 days, I done made $100,000. Okay. It's as simple as that. Now you're gonna take that $100,000 and you're gonna make some investments. So now every 30 days when you get your intake sheet from Bank of New York Mellon and TD Ameritrade or Schwab, you're gonna, well, dang, I just made another $40,000. I just made another $50,000. And all I did was put the money over there. That's all I did.
Mm-hmm.
The money don't belong to me.
It doesn't.
The money belongs to the company.
But it's a self-sufficient cycle.
Correct.
And it's even better than passive income. It's just going in a circle. The money is being made and it's being invested into the partner/private company.
Correct.
And then you have a trustee that come by and move the money around.
Correct.
And displace money where it needs to be at to keep the money going for whoever inside the company, which would be a few, collective few.
Correct.
In other words, it's like you said, I may need to draw out $5,000 for a month because I created this company that's doing all this.
Correct.
For my well-being, so I can continue so I can continue letting this company work, right? So I'm gonna draw on like $5,000 this month because I need to go give me a vacation to get my head right, get my spirit right, and the company is still going, and so therefore that money is not like it's mine; it's the company's money, but I'm taking care of the company, so the company gonna take care of me.
Correct.
I love it.
Got it.
Wow.
I like that.
I got it. That's wow.
You got it.
This is something.
Yeah.
This right here is real, straight, conscious, next step information. Given in this time that where we at and the plight of the brown and black people, this kind of information is a stepping stone to take us to where we need to go. And I thank you for that, Aurorah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Oh, this is great. I learned a lot, and I still got my plate, my fork ready, so I'm ready to eat some more. and I got to give you some love too.
Oh my God.
Love.
Oh my goodness.
Love on that one.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
I feel like I've entered another realm.
yeah, I have too.
Yeah, just by gaining this part of the understanding on a much deeper level, it's far beyond just filing yourself as a quote unquote LLC. I mean, this understanding is so needed in order for, like you say, you got to change your mind. And even you said yourself, how your mentor had to tell you, you're not doing anything illegal, you're not doing anything wrong. And I think because we've been so integrated or conditioned, into this type of reality, and they know that the thing is so deep that it's hard to come out. And so I just want to say, even your own consciousness was challenged with it. But I thank you for sharing that aspect of it, because I was feeling a bit, not overwhelmed, but like, wow. And when you see you're going to have to change your mind and realize you're not doing anything illegal. And I thank you for that right now, because I'm really ready to make that kind of step, because I know that doing what we've been doing, with all honesty, I'm not trying to put it down. I mean, I'm glad we've been surviving and stuff, but it's really not working.
Say again, baby?
I said what we've been doing, this 9-to-5 thing, and these jobs and stuff. It suffices in terms of paying bills and stuff like that. But it's not really the life that we ultimately want to continue living. And so I guess my next question for you is how do we start getting out of this? Like, for real, like what is a 1, 2, 3, process? What is besides changing your mind? What's the thing? I mean, I know I'm gonna book
What's the next step? What's the next step, Aurorah, from changing our mind? I'm pretty sure
that's it.
The company that's the body of people that's here right now, I'm pretty sure their mind and hearts are pretty much open. So we interchanging our mind, and now you gave us this information, and now I'm gonna tell you the energy is flowing in everybody. They're like, what?
Okay.
Like, I can do this, I can do that. So what would be our next two steps
Okay.
leading towards we really sitting down with you and you really do a one-on-one us with anyone
Okay.
to show us here, this is it for you, this is your
Okay.
pattern, this is your template for what you're going to do, this is your
Well,
template for what you're going to do. So
well,
it's like, yeah,
I'm
that's
gonna
it.
back. Okay, I'm gonna back you up. I'm gonna back it up because once you have now set an intention
Right.
that you no longer want to be the 95% of people who live in poverty and who live a 10-40 lifestyle, which means you ain't got jack too much of nothing, right?
Right.
You've changed your mind. Now you work on the numbers. So now you gotta start creating, what is it that I want to sell? How much does it cost? That's number one. So
Product.
so to rephrase that, what is it that I know that is of value to a whole lot of people? Because if you want to be a millionaire, you got to help a million people.
Right.
Okay?
Okay.
So now that you've made a decision, you've set an intention, what is it that you're going to offer of value that services the masses? Right? What is that thing? And what are the numbers attached to it? How much is it going to cost for somebody to get my knowledge? That's the second thing. Now, once you put that together, now you can start to form the purpose of the company, the purpose of the ministry, the purpose of the foundation, the purpose of the organization. Now we're gonna gain the purpose because now we done worked on the numbers. I know how much, I can pretty much say how much money I'm gonna make a month. So what I help people who start their business, I help them, okay, let's start on the first 10K a month. Let's start on the first 10K.
Okay.
What is it that you're selling? How do we have to have your advertisements? So we're gonna go over where you're gonna advertise, how much does it cost? From the ad, where is it landing people? When it lands somebody somewhere, what is it that you're telling people the result is gonna be from getting whatever it is that you're selling? Because people are buying results, right? So now you got all that together. This is the result, this is the product, this is what it costs. I'm advertising, I'm landing them here on the landing page. They go straight to the cart, they buy it. They get sent whatever it is, however that's gonna go, okay? Now I have come up with a concrete idea as to how I'm gonna earn X amount of dollars every 30 days. Once I have now gone over that, now I am ready to commit to creating the legal entity to make this thing move. Because you can't move it in your own name. Can't do it.
I got it.
Mm-hmm.
I so get it. So the main
I'm
thing
taking notes.
is to understand what you just said about what it is, what's the value, what is the result, and figuring out what that 10K product or service is going to look like. Get it out there and start driving it. And then once that materializes, then you're saying to then create this entity so that it can really start working for you, because now you got the cash flow. You can start making moves.
No. This is all the idea. You can't make the idea move without the legal entity.
Right.
Okay.
Because you're not collecting any money in your name.
No, that's for the business.
Right. So see, once you now you have the science, now you put the science into the cart. The cart has wheels.
Got wheels.
Now you push the cart.
So
That's how that's gonna work.
I got a question.
Go ahead.
For example, what if, okay, all right, like us here in this group here. Now, we got this information, and all of us here are genius in our own right. How would it look if somebody partner up and make a thing? Cause one aspect would be the private part of it, then one aspect would be the public part of it.
Uh-huh.
Now, is the thing that I was kind of wondering about this in a partnership like that. That partnership come together, and it makes that one entity that's bringing all this finance in. And it
I'm gonna
is there.
stop you. I'm gonna
Okay.
stop you because
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you how that works. I'm tell you what wealthy people do. You don't have a partner per se like that, the way you're saying it. You got an entity, and whoever wants to work with you has an entity. Now,
Got it.
there is a contractual agreement between your entity and Amadi's entity. We're in contractual agreement to say we're going to work a project together because it's not Ray and Amadi. It's Ray's company and Amadi's company that have a contractual agreement to say they're going to work together. The reason why it has to happen like that, because if you come together and say you're going to create an LLC together, well, the Internal Revenue Service is going to view that as a partnership. And because that's a pass-through tax entity, now they're going to expect somebody to say they're 50% owner. What happens when you're the owner? You pay tax.
Yeah.
So that's why it doesn't work like that.
Okay.
You have an entity that's going to help you become tax exempt. Amadi has an entity that's going to help him become tax exempt. You have a contractual agreement between the two entities to do a business.
Right. To work on a project, right. You're working on something together, but you're not coming in as partners.
Correct.
Or ownership.
Right.
Correct. It's two companies doing something together.
Okay.
Okay.
And that makes more sense. That makes sense.
The two companies get together and create another company because that's the company that's going to collect all the money that passes through to Ray's company and Amadi's company.
Oh man, I see it.
But that I have a question. But that company that you create, it doesn't have an owner, right? You still.
Who's speaking? I can't see.
Michelle.
This is Michelle.
Michelle.
Uh-huh.
Yes, so let me see. Where are you at? Oh, here you go. Okay, go ahead, Michelle.
I said, but that company that you created, out of all of them, you don't have an owner, right? How do you do that?
The owners of the company would be Ray's company and Amadi's company.
Could you say that again? You were breaking
creating. What she said is that there is no ownership.
Correct.
It's all about control.
Right. Correct.
So what you're creating is an entity. Okay, like your mask. Now, the entity for your mask could be, okay, your name is Michelle Sharp. Okay, the entity could be Sharp Plus is the entity that makes these masks. Is with that with what makes these masks. And then you have another part of it, your private that's doing the nonprofit aspect, and then an other company that comes in that brings the two finances of these two companies together. But there's no ownership. Nobody don't own it. There's no owner because if you're an owner, you're paying the taxes.
Correct.
Michelle, did you get that, Michelle?
Well, I'm going to explain it now. I'm going to clarify it for Michelle because I understand what she's asking. So, Michelle, what you have to know is that.
I'm sorry, I was disconnected for about a minute. So
okay.
I hear anything
came back right on time.
My phone is acting crazy.
Okay, I got you. Okay, I see you on the screen. Okay, so I'm going to answer your question because what you need to know is that there's two roles to play inside of a limited liability company. Okay. One is that of a member and one is that of a manager. Right. Okay? Right. Mm-hmm. When you complete the articles of organization, they ask you two questions. Is this company vested in a manager? You can check yes or no. Or is this company vested in a member? Yes or no. You're always going to say manager. Why? Because the manager could be an individual that has no ownership. The member has ownership. The member either has 20% ownership, 50% ownership, or 100% ownership. The manager does not. So in the example that I just gave Ray and Amadi, Ray would have a manager managed entity. Amadi would have a manager managed entity. Together, they contractually agree to create another manager managed entity. And the managers are Ray's company and Amadi's company. So there's still no ownership. And you know what that's called when there's no ownership, Michelle? It's called a holding company.
Hey, I had not heard of those.
Oh,
I heard of those. I heard of those. I've heard of those.
That's what they're going to create to move money through.
this is deep.
Did you say a holding company?
Holding. Like you're gonna hold something? Holding company? Did you hear, Michelle?
I can barely hear you. This thing is spinning. I don't know what the hell is going on.
A holding company.
A holding as an HOLDING.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Oh, okay.
Haven't you heard of those before? Have anybody ever heard of a holding company?
I have.
Yes,
I know I have.
definitely.
Yeah.
I just didn't understand it. I just said, oh, it's a holding company.
It's a holding company. Now we know.
We got notes going on, Ray.
Yeah, I seen that.
Okay.
That was from Vicky.
Okay.
This is so good. I hate that I missed some of it because my phone went dead. I just I had a lot going on with my phone today, but the
It's
part
okay.
that I've
He's
heard,
recording it.
everything.
He's going to send you the recording, right, Ray?
Yeah, I got it's been recorded.
Yeah.
Oh, good, because I missed the first hour.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, Ray's recording.
I'm gonna figure out how I'm gonna do that. I may have to open up a YouTube
When are
channel.
you coming back?
Delicia and Ray just asked me to talk to everybody about it. This was not planned. It wasn't a plan. They
Right.
just decided they wanted to ask me to talk to you all about money. And I'm the 7-figure queen. So I said, okay.
And what sparked it?
We sure do thank you.
You're
Yeah,
welcome.
what sparked it was last week. Last week really what sparked this. She came to the meeting, and we're talking about change, and she chimed in some powerful stuff that like it just fitted. It fits, and it was only right, for the people that's here, for us to feed you what you need. Connecting the dots. This is exactly what we're doing, is connecting these dots. And guess what? We are the dots. We're the dots.
Right. That's right. Wow.
I appreciate
So
it.
I'm feeling, I'm so full. I'm like, oh my gosh. I just want to ask, does anybody else have any questions?
Yes. Oh, Vicky came in. She just came in. So
Hey, Vicky.
we're gonna say hi to Vicky. She's on.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, Vicky.
Hi.
How y'all doing? Good to see y'all and hear y'all.
Hey, Vicky.
I miss all y'all.
Good to see you, Vicky.
Yes.
Good to see you. Good to see you, Cherry.
Yes. Yes,
Hey,
good to see you,
love your
Cherry.
family.
Hey,
Hey,
Vicky.
Sheila.
Hey, Amadi.
All
My
right.
family. I get to see all my family today. I love you guys.
Yes. Good to
Yes.
see you. Right.
The family affair today.
Yeah.
Now, this is about
Building.
family business, y'all. This is
Yeah.
family business.
Yeah.
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 Family business affairs.
Mhm.
And really
Operation.
taking a hold to this, because this is not something you were going to hear on any video that you've seen recently.
Aurora off the chain. I'm like, girl, what's your number? What's your email? What up? How much? I don't got $12,000, but can we help me get it? And sheesh.
Wait, look, I have my agreement. When I make my first 10K, here's my payment, right?
Right.
Right?
Let's get the money first, and then okay.
Miss Bell, that's for VIP clients. That's for people. Okay, Delicia knows that I work with very high net worth individuals. All right. So let me share with y'all type of clientele that I work with. A majority of the people who come to me or in two categories. The first are individuals who want to now start a business. They want to start a business. They have been in business, but they don't understand why they're either not making any money or why they're paying so many taxes. They have problems with it. And so I help them to restructure so that they can make money tax-free. So that might consist of any number of limited liability companies, any type of trust. I do every type of trust you could think of, and contractual agreements. And a lot of people have a lot of assets. So for example, I work with a lot of people who they want to be in certain financial institutions, but you have to meet a certain financial criteria to get in there. So I started asking them about what assets they have in the house, okay? And a lot of people have crystal, they have Persian rugs, they have gemstones at home, they have Piaget watches, okay? And that were handed to them and they did not know the value. They have gold coins, silver coins, okay? $2 bills. They don't know the value. So I go about making the phone calls to getting these things appraised. Now, once we have the appraisal, I find an institution that will take these things in and collateralize them. Now,
collateralize.
Yes.
Like create a bond on them or something?
No, we're going to collateralize the asset, meaning that, so for example, if you can't get into Bank of New York Mellon because you need $2 million to get in there, we use Brinks. So we have Brinks to come and pick up the asset, right? The asset is already appraised before Brinks comes to pick up the asset. When Brinks gets the asset, they're going to reevaluate it to assure that these are authentic items that you say that you have, right? Now, they're going to give the client what is called a safekeeping receipt. That is an SKR. We take the SKR into the financial institution and say, please give us the money. That's how that works. So you get to borrow money against the assets that are sitting in the safe at the vault at Brinks, the Brinks vault, okay? Now, the safety and the glory in this transaction is that the assets will not move. And you can get on a 42-week trade and have that money make money every week for 42 weeks. So for example, if you got on a $100,000 trade, you might make $40,000, $50,000 a week for 42 weeks, depending on what's trading that you had the time to get on to, okay? It's a very large game being played. So now I help the client, I create the entity that's gonna be on the trade. So I create a trust. We take the SKR in with the trust. They're gonna give the person the money. The trust now gets on the trade. The trust is now making money every week, okay? Now there's money to now do what the client is trying to do, whether that means they wanna buy a building, because they never wanna buy a house or an apartment. They wanna buy a building, okay? So they wanna buy these buildings, or they wanna build a housing project, they're gonna buy land, they're gonna do all that, okay? So I help them to do that. That's the first type. And then the second type are new entrepreneurs that, listen, I'm trying to do something. I don't know what to do. I need to get something together. So I put the business together for them, and I help map out how they're going to make the business profit. So the exercise that I just went over with you guys, what is your product? What is your service? Let's tweak it, okay? Let me tell you about how to do the advertisement. Let me tell you how to, do the lead generation. Let me tell you how to bring the monies in. Now, once the monies comes in, now I'm gonna show you what to do with the money. And while that's happening, I'm helping you build the business credit. So now that client is prepared to now create their first trust, okay? So now the monies are gonna flow through to the trust. They may be the beneficiary. Right now, you can get over $11 million a year as a gift, as a beneficiary, tax-free.
What?
So you're living a tax-free lifestyle.
Yep.
One change that you made. And then the next type of client are people who already just have a crap load of money. They got new grandbabies. They're gonna get into new partnerships with people. These are the people who They want to come to Vegas because number one, they don't really trust a woman. They want to meet me. They don't really trust a woman with flavor, but they want what I have. And they've already been to the attorney and was told they were going to pay $250,000 for what they want me to do for $15,000, $20,000. You see what I'm saying? So they feel more comfortable coming to be in my face and allowing me to teach them everything. So I got to pull out all the IRS publications. I got to pull out all the case law and everything they're trying to do. It's tedious, but I love what I do because I'm learning something new about what these people are doing in their businesses. And they get, and Delicia would tell you, I get beautiful gifts. Oh my God, I get gifts, boy. Them people love me. They give me all kind of stuff. They send me gifts, and stuff for the dog, eau de parfums, extra money. Oh, I mean, it's lovely because I saved them millions of dollars doing the transaction tax free. Okay, so for entrepreneurs, I'm on YouTube. They come and they press the links. They get a strategy session. It's $275. In an hour, I go through a whole plan with them, a whole plan, and they end up getting either one entity or two or three entities, because once I tell them how to build the credit, see, the credit is going to give you the access to the cash. So once you build the credit in the entity, you don't really have to go and sell stuff. You don't really have to do that. You got to start building the credit for the entity, and you can put money in the account because some people are still working and they're not ready to start an e-commerce business or a consulting business or anything like that. So I teach them how to make the money through the credit, and then they can use the money to go and get income producing assets, and then they can retire from corporate America. So that's what Miss Aurorah does all doggone day, besides walk the dog.
How about a little bit of this, y'all?
Yeah.
Need that. Need that.
Oh, but that was why Trump said he don't pay taxes, right?
Yes, because he's not an employee.
Mm-hmm.
None of his companies pay him a salary. They see, you can become your own trust fund baby. So you can become your own trust fund baby. And that's what he is. He's his own trust fund baby.
Get out of here.
Trust take care of him. And that's why the salary for being the president is a joke. And that's why he joked about it early on. I don't want to be the president because I want to get paid. And you can't pay me enough. $275,000 a year, what the hell is that? He said, forget it, I make that in an hour, which is true.
Yeah, I heard that he donated. He donated salary.
That's what he says, because he doesn't need it. And he knows if he takes it, it's taxable.
So may as well give it away so you can write it off.
He doesn't write off. He's not a taxpayer. He's not poor.
I'm all right. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Change your mind, Delicia.
That's right.
I followed you, Aurorah, on YouTube.
I'm changing. Believe me, I'm changing my mind because I know I'm not doing this for the rest of my life.
I'm changing my mind too with you, sissy.
Right?
Yes.
No, I mean, it's going to be work. It ain't going to all happen overnight. But I would rather be on the plight on this rather than continuing as before, because it's really not going anywhere. So at some point you got to take a step away and say, okay, I'm changing my mind. I'm going to change my energy and what my next steps are going to be. So that's where I'll just say that's where we're at, Ray and I, when I'm saying that, and this is so vitally important. Just like Ray was saying after the conversation last week about, being the change and changing lanes and breaking chains out of your life. This is one of those chains, like you're going to have to change your mind to break that chain.
Yes.
To really, become more than what we've been given, because it is possible, because you've done it, you're doing it, and you're helping other people, through this process. So I'm saying thank you. Again, honestly, like, wow, like this was intense for me. I'm going to be honest with you. And as much as we've been friends now for 3 years, and it's like, this was really intense because we really are friends, because we don't necessarily talk about these things in our conversation.
That's what I want to say. Aurorah, we talk, we always talk, but I didn't know it was like this. And now I'm like, why we want to talk about this then? You
Well,
know,
it's this
but
time
it's,
now. I
it's
know that's
time
what the
now.
things I was
Thank you,
asking for
thank you,
right
Sherry.
now, and it's manifested in all these beautiful people.
Yes.
And I feel comfortable because I see a lot of faces I know
See?
and trust. So I'm able to hear Aurora better.
Yeah.
You know how you
Wow.
can be hearing stuff, but you know,
You're
just
really
depending on who it's
Thank you.
coming from, you ain't really hearing it. But
Yes.
since you know the introduction, I can from Ray and Delisha, I'm able to hear you more, and you know what I'm saying. So I'm thankful and I appreciate it.
I want to add this. It's really beautiful and high energy here because it's one, two, three, four. There's four people here who was at our bonding ceremony. So, and at that bonding ceremony, everyone said it was some mystical stuff that was going on. I felt good. Some people said their heart opened up. All kind of things was happening. So,
Yes.
bam, it's by way of Aurora now.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And I was gonna say this
I'm
is,
coming through, man. I need you.
and I'm so surprised to see you, Cherry. I am, and I'm so glad to see you. What a blessing it is to hear your voice, to feel your presence. You're so beautiful.
Thank you, sissy. Yeah, Ray came in and he said, "Come in now." I seen the video. He shared. He said, "Now you can come in the room now." So I said, "Well,
Come on
I'm
in.
not." And usually I would have a client or I would be working. So,
Yeah.
but and this is the thing is that I have been saying that I want to not just keep working in my business. That I got to work on my business. And so this is just so powerful for me right now because it's a lot of the things that I've been talking about and I just really didn't know how.
Right.
And to have somebody who do this for a living and I can tell that you're passionate about it, I'm excited, because it's a lot of things that I haven't done because I haven't had those things in order and I didn't really know how to go about it. And every time you talk to people, they talking about thousands of dollars and it's like, well, okay, how I'm trying to start though. Like I'm trying to make the money to do that,
See,
So
let me
this is
tell you.
dope.
Let me tell you why that is, Sister Bell. I'm going to tell you exactly what.
Well, I heard you because you said they don't have nothing under $2,500 or something like that. I seen that when you creating these packages and stuff,
Correct.
when you're adding value. So I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
I'm going to give you the metaphysics behind it, though.
Oh.
And I want to say big up to Vicky. She said, I want to move to wealth consciousness. Well, you're here right now.
Mhm.
Yes.
Now.
You have arrived.
Yeah. So, Sister Bell, energy, as we all know here, is your whole existence on this planet, your energy. So when you hear people say, you are the equivalent of the 5 closest people to you, it's true.
Mhm.
Now, if you don't create a way to use your own natural energy yield, which is money,
which is current, I agree.
Okay, right?
I've been saying that. I'm with you.
You're gonna attract other people who live like you. And you're never gonna hear this conversation.
Right.
Okay?
You gotta get outside the box.
You're never gonna hear this conversation. Because the 5 people closest to you don't have this information. So if you, just like I shared with you, I had to go see Dan Pena. That was $15,000. I had to have the $15,000 to get into the room with other people who had the $15,000.
Right.
Okay? Now, not only did I learn from the mentor, but the people who were also there had businesses and we all had something to learn from one another.
Yes.
We were all the equivalent of one another. There wasn't anybody who was making under 7 figures in that workshop. Okay? So that is why you have to physically take yourself there. If you don't, you'll be around the same people who do the same stuff. They got habits and they make choices and decisions to feed those habits, and you'll never get to the action of this conversation. So see, now that you heard it, now you got a responsibility.
That's right.
And as you move forward, you're gonna realize you can't hang with some people who ain't talking about nothing but what we talked about in here tonight. I promise you, it's gonna make you sick to your stomach. And Delicia and Ray will tell you, well, mainly Delicia, because I never talked to Ray about it. But the teacher that he's telling y'all about that we met through, the man had a business. Well, he thought he had a business. I pointed out to him that he ain't had no damn business. I said, this is a hustle, but I can help you create a viable business with integrity and mutual benefit. Ask Alicia and Ray if you wanted that.
I didn't know if you
Then
did.
ask Alicia and Ray if we still know the man. Because you can't stay with people who want to be low vibrational and be a side hustler and a swindler and a people abuser. When you have this high energy information, you don't have no choice but to keep going higher and higher. And you're gonna see that opportunities will now start to come to you because you received the information. So that's the reason why people have to charge. Tony Robbins, you want to be a part of the Platinum Circle, you're going to pay $100,000. Why?
I don't mind it. I just want to know how I play like that. It's not that I just want to have the money to play. It's not the issue.
Exactly.
That's not.
You can't go be under Tony Robbins for under $100,000 because he can't have low vibrational energy in his space.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? Your money is your energy. So he can't tell people, well,
I need to get my vibration up.
He can't do it no more. He's past that. So that's what's going to happen to you, Sister Bell.
Ashe. I accept that.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Your network is your net worth. That is a true statement.
I saw that come through. That was Vicky.
That's right.
She been prophesying all night and declaring things the whole time.
Hey, let's give Vicky some love.
Yeah.
Love you, Vicky.
That's what I'm talking about.
Welcome with us.
I know stuff. I just shut up.
Right.
Oh my God. Well, I was gonna say, before you proceed, I just have one question, like just a general idea. What is a good, like when we talked about whatever your product or service is and putting value to that, like what is a good way to do that in the next 30 days to come up with an idea? Like, could it be anything, or do you have a suggestion of something that you know that works?
What I know that works. When you create whatever it is that you create, you want to license it and you want a publisher. So I'm gonna give you an example. You wanna write a book? Don't start that Amazon publishing crap, all that self-publishing crap, because you're not gonna make money internationally. You want to write the book. Find a publisher to license the book. That publisher is now going to spend the money to sell that book internationally, and you will collect the royalties forever and ever. So see, when you say you're gonna come up with a product, you wanna come up with a product that sells internationally that other companies now want to license the use of, because that's how you're creating generational wealth. That's how you ain't gonna go to nobody's job ever again in your life, okay? So you wanna write a book? You might not have a book deal, but you can get a licensing deal, okay? Get that licensing deal, have that publisher spend all the money to publish that stuff and to sell that stuff internationally. And then what's gonna happen? They're gonna say, well, other people can use what you just wrote in their own company. Now we got a second type of license where you're gonna allow a company to use your intellectual property as their own, and they have to pay you every day that they use it. So when you come up with something, it has to be something that is gonna make money every day internationally without you having to do a doggone thing else.
That's love it.
What you wanna do.
I love that.
And that's so key. I'm sorry. That changed the whole scope of me finishing the one book that I know that I have to do. And I was going to say, and I want to say it is an international bestseller, that it will be all over the world.
Yes.
And then you just added a key, because it's like, if you don't have the numbers, you need to give them. Like that,
Right.
yeah, basically. And by doing it this way that you're saying, inevitably you're going to get them, because that's their job, is to get that, because they want to make money too.
Correct. That's how they make money. They make money when they help you make money.
But I want to say two things. One thing, if it's all right, Aurora, could you put your information so if anybody want to get in contact with you
Yes.
in the chat box? And two, I'm taking away a lot of stuff, but it's one thing that's keep popping up and popping up to me, and is making me look at, and that's international
Uh-huh.
and control and manage.
Yes.
I hear a lot of international and control and manage.
Yes.
And why I'm saying it because just well, within the past 4 years, I just started really just talking about global and international and stuff like that. But now it's like I feel it, and I know it. If you're gonna do something, you really need to stretch out real far, because wherever you may be at, a lot of the people like where you at may not get it. So you gotta go far, global. And I thought about this, like what me and Delisha can do. We can put our heads together, because we constantly put our heads together creating things. And believe us, we created some beautiful stuff that, basically mindsets and thought patterns and some trinkets and things like that, just by talking and stuff. So this is at the right time. That's all I'm saying.
Yes.
This is just like the right time for everything to happen. And,
Yes.
one of our big takeaways is international and
Yes.
and and control. Manage. You don't really want to own nothing. And I grew up, and I always hear people say, "You want to own your own things. You want to own your own things." Then I
Right.
also hear, "Man, the tax man is eating me up."
Yes.
And that's the dichotomy of that thing.
Yes.
They say own everything, and then on the opposite of own everything, the tax man is eating me up. And then you came through with a breakthrough revelation. Create an entity company that manage these things, and have a trust.
Yes.
And it makes more sense. Makes more sense. And you see why now I can see why the rich are so rich, and they really don't talk to certain people. You only see them with other
Correct.
rich people. You ain't gonna see
Correct.
with no one else.
You ain't gonna
Because
mess with my piece. I got to go.
just like you said Tony Robinson, he said he don't want to be around that low frequency.
He
And I
can't.
can understand that. I
Right.
understand that, because like where I work at and where I work with, I'd be like, man, some of these people they so stuck in their mindset that it kind of it don't harm me. It just I need to get away for a minute. It kind of taxing on me, for me to stay positive and uplifting. Then I come around people that old with that weird stuff. I can take it for a while. Then I just got, you're not going nowhere, so why should I be around you? So
Exactly.
I try to make my business to be around interesting and thought-provoking people.
That's
And
right.
all of y'all are.
Yeah. Ricky's
Really,
Ricky,
everybody here.
chat.
We appreciate it.
All right, Lord have mercy.
Well, thanks, Ray.
Y'all are very interesting, thought-provoking people.
Yes.
Since day one, since we started doing this, everybody who came through was thought-provoking and inspiring, inspiration, and giving insight. So we are who we were waiting for. But what we need to do now is come together and create this super nation.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say super and create this super nation. With integrity.
That's right.
And I say integrity because I've seen a lot of unintegrity things.
Correct.
Unintegral things.
That's right.
And why I can say that, before I was awakened, I was in the unintegral things myself, so I know the difference. It's been very hard for someone to fool. I've been there. I know what it looks like. And this here, this is that new paradigm shit. It is. It's that new paradigm shit. And I thank y'all. Appreciate y'all.
Yes. Yeah, and I just and before we go, I was just going to ask you the last slide. I was going to ask you if you can give us a wealth activation affirmation to help start, channeling to help us clear our mindset. It can be, it could be one word, action, whatever.
Well, we already know that you have to line up your vibration and you have to put it in a past tense. You have to say you already have it. So, you can say I am so the day is long, but your subconscious mind really doesn't believe it because the physical manifestation is not with you.
Okay.
But if you begin to say I have, so like I always say, I have a lavish, steady, dependable income of $1 million a month with integrity and mutual benefit. That's my chant. That's my affirmation. And I'm telling you, you start saying that, put your number in there. What's realistic for you? $1 million a month is realistic for me. That's realistic for me. Put whatever is realistic for you in that space. I have a lavish, steady, dependable income of whatever with integrity and mutual benefit. And you will start to see all kind of stuff will begin to run your way. Opportunities, people who say they want to get with you, they want you to do something for them, they want to buy something from you. It's amazing. So I would say that I have. Yeah.
I have.
Steady, dependable income of blank. And say the time. So I have a lavish, steady, dependable income of $1 million a month with integrity and mutual benefit. Okay, so whatever your number is.
I got you.
Okay, no, write that. Say that one more time because I'm writing that down, girl. I have
a lavish, steady, dependable income
of,
and you put your stuff there. A month. With integrity. And mutual benefit.
I love that because it includes everybody. Benefit. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yes, because. Go ahead, Amadi.
No, I said thank you for that, Aurora.
Oh, okay. Yes.
That's great, and I'm gonna start that like today, like tonight, to activate that in that frequency to keep going from this point. I don't want to look back or go back. I want to kind of move it forward from here.
Yes.
Yeah, and thank you for that because that's very powerful what you said because it really encompasses everything.
Yes.
Yes, and it continues from this moment forward.
All right now, Sister Delicia.
It continues. Right. It continues because I honestly I know I'm supposed to have at least 6 figures. I already know more. I know that.
But I just have 10.
Yeah.
I know that. About myself. I always have. I just didn't know what to do, but so that has been removed on this day.
Okay.
Hey, do anyone have any extra questions? Free throw.
I need to find the information she was talking about that was on the IRS about the LLC and everything because I missed the first part.
What?
I missed like the whole first hour that you were talking, or 30 minutes, or however long you were talking.
Oh, okay.
I know what you were talking about. Was it LLC? And I see you had EBSI. I missed out on that. I don't know what that was.
Oh, you're great.
Yeah. Okay, go back to the slide, Ray, please. Who's controlling the slide?
That's the wizard is right there. The Oz is there. He got the slide.
I think that's Sheila, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I missed all of that. I'm gonna take a picture of that.
Okay. So I'll go over what I explained. Okay. That is the cash flow quadrant. Okay.
The next one.
Because Amadi missed it as well.
One more.
Okay,
no, the next one.
That's it. Quadrant.
This what you're talking about, Vicky?
Yes, that's it.
Sorry, Sheila and Vicky too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's one I missed.
All right. So
I'm
I
ready to go.
was explaining to the group that the E stands for employee.
Employee.
Okay.
All right.
And when you are an employee, you're paying 40% tax. That is the tax law. That
Yep.
if you are claiming to be an employee anywhere, this is the reason why before you catch your check, they have already taken out the tax, okay? And if you earn a certain amount, when you go to file a 1040, you may owe more money.
Yep.
Because they're going to get their 40%, okay? So that is the E. This is where you want to come from. You wanna escape being an E.
Yep.
Okay. The S stands for self-employment or small business. All right. So you know that the Internal Revenue Service considers small business to be 500 employees or less, and that's who the PPP plan was for. That is a little miserable after it shook out.
All right.
When you are the S, you actually pay 60% tax.
Oh, Lord.
With an additional 16% self-employment tax.
Oh.
So what they do is they tack on 20 more percent because you're still filing a 1040. But now you're saying, well, I'm not employed by anybody. I'm doing my own thing, or I've got a few employees and I run a small business. So they feel entitled to now tack on 20 additional percent because of that. Wow. So you're paying 60%, no matter how they're going to get it out of you, okay? With an additional 16% self-employment tax if you allow the tax preparer to check that box to say, yes, I'm self-employed. Okay. Now, the reason why this happens is because if you're in the small business category, somebody has probably already convinced you to make a tax election to say that you are an S corporation, meaning that you're going to have a payroll. So now you have given the Internal Revenue Service everybody's name, their social security number, and their address. And you're saying these people are on the payroll. Now, you can put yourself on the payroll and just be an employee and omit the 16% self-employment tax because you're not saying I'm self-employed. You get what I'm saying?
Right. So
the E is straight up employee, okay, 40%. The S is self-employment and small business, 60% with an additional 16% if you claim to be self-employed, all right? The B is where you want to start to be. The business, the actual true business, pays 20% tax or less. It could be 20% to zero, depending on how that business is put together. Now, if you are a business, like I've been discussing, to which you came in on, you are a business to whereas you have no employees, but you're not a member and you're not an employee, you would actually be able to collect millions of dollars tax-free legally because there's no one claiming to be a member that is gonna say they took a loss or a profit, and then there's no employee. You would just be managing this company, and as the manager, you have the legal right to take what is called a draw. So that means you have access to the money legally tax-free to run that, to operate the company for as long as you need to operate the company in that manner legally, okay? So if you're here, you pay 20% tax if you've got employees or 0% tax if you don't, okay?
Okay.
The I is for the investor. The investor pays 0% tax across the board. The investor pays 0% tax. The reason why the investor pays 0% tax legally is because the investor is not an employee. The investor is not self-employed, nor does the investor have a small business. And the investor is not claiming control or ownership over a business. The investor is actually using money to either create income-producing projects or buy income-producing projects or assets that produce income that flow through to a tax-exempt entity, okay? So this is how you create tax-free wealth. So that's what you missed And we had a little in-depth because Ray had questions and everything, but Ray's recording this, so you'll get the recording and you'll hear what we talked about.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
I took
What
notes.
else?
I appreciate
Amani, you missed something too.
So the next.
I'm just taking it all in.
I know I said a lot. And I didn't really mean to do all this. I told Elisa when she asked me to do it, she was like, can you make slide? I said, I'm a freestyler. I just give the information. What you want me to do? And she said, I'll make a slide. Okay, fine. And I just talk. So because I have all the information, because I'm a person who reads all the publications, so that's why I'm able to be effective with my clients, because as soon as they come with something, okay, let me tell you what that's about. Let me tell you how you can do that. You see what I'm saying? I have the solution, so I can just talk about this all day, all night. So that's basically what you missed, Vicki and Sheila, I think. But you're welcome, Sheila. Yeah.
Anybody got more questions?
This is the best Zoom I done been to.
Right?
So I do have.
What is it?
I
The
have
whole COVID-19.
Yeah.
We're talking about investments and money and all that.
Yeah, I have a question. Sort of like. So my question is, okay, so basically, you're saying then we need to get an idea or like a concept on how we feel like, what we have to offer to the world, assess what that value is, and then to come up with a plan, I guess.
Yeah.
But not necessarily a plan, just have a sense of what it is that you want to offer.
Yeah.
So do you have any, do you have any, anything like to help us get started with that?
As far as ideas as to what you can sell?
Well, just like, yeah, I mean, like, okay, so basically just kind of think in terms of what can I sell, or do you have anything like help, with your clients? So basically you kind of have people, so when you take in your clients, have they already finished that step, or do you take them in at the very beginning, not having created, you say you do a $250 consultation, right? Or do you say
$275 for the strategy session? To
Yeah,
where
$275.
I'm gonna take them from A to Z as to how they're gonna start making money, because that's what everybody, because what's happening, Amadi, is that people need to increase income. That's the reality.
Right.
You're not going anywhere unless you can really make some real money, right?
Mm-hmm.
You need cash flow. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you all, if you really want to make money, I'm gonna tell you what people are buying and buying a whole lot of. Are you ready?
Yes.
Anything for cats and dogs.
Yes, I know.
Anything for cats and dogs.
That's true. That's true.
I'm not kidding. The dog is your competition.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
That's deep.
Mm-hmm.
The dog. If you sell dog t-shirts, dog sweaters, dog coats, dog booties, dog treats, dog toys, engraved dog collars, you're gonna make a lot of money every day. Dog strollers, dog harnesses. How do I know? Might you ask?
Yeah, I know you know it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything for the cat. For the cat. You're gonna make a lot of money. And anything for a baby. If you sell $1,000 specialty stroller, you're gonna sell out. I promise you that.
That's great.
Onesies, cute little shirts that say stupid stuff, bibs, little, whatever the season calls for a baby. You sell that stuff, you're making a lot of money every day. And you don't need a brick and mortar store to do it.
Yes, you don't.
People are buying stuff for dogs, cats, and babies all day, every day, internationally.
Yes, they are.
Okay.
On the internet.
On the internet. Third category, and this is going to be a shocker. anything that has to do with camping and hunting.
Wow.
You're
So right.
gonna make a lot of money. Okay?
Right.
These people all over the world like to be in the wilderness. And they buy everything that has to do with going camping, being out there, rifles. And they want their rifle. Oh my God. They want their rifle. You start selling rifles and pellet guns and those flares to make a fire. Oh, you're gonna make a lot of money. Okay?
Wow.
Thank you.
Those are the top items. So if you don't have something of your own right now, and right now on the immediate, anything to boost the immune system. Anything to boost the immune system.
Ching ching, I got that.
Here you go.
Yeah. Right.
I got that.
Yes.
I need to start sharing my link everywhere.
Right.
Everywhere.
Okay. Now, if you want to make a little bit of money from a whole lot of people, you know you're gonna start selling eyelashes.
Wow.
The hair industry takes the cake.
Yes, it is.
Okay. So that's a demographic all its own. It's not really that international. Now, a lot of Caucasian women are buying they buy more hair than African American women. The Caucasian women. Okay. So you would have to spend a little time. You'd have to spend more time getting that together than the other things, but you're gonna make a lot of money off hair products, hair accessory, wigs, really wigs, okay, because everybody's wearing a wig, and bundles, okay. So these are the hot selling items, all right. Now, for the new age industry, these people.
Okay, let's go. Let's go. What they talking
That's
about?
what we want. We're waiting on that one.
Okay.
I like to call it ancient new.
Okay. The top sellers for the new age industry, essential oils, all kind of essential oils, meditation beads. Those are the top sellers. So if you got oils, these things that people use to meditate, and they come up in the little machines. Those machines are hot sellers that do the mist for the oils.
Okay, yeah, like I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, they sell like hotcakes.
Diffuser, that's it.
Diffuser, right? They sell like hotcakes. So if you can sell the diffusers, the oils, and meditation beads, and I'm talking, when you sell the bead, it's just not any old bead. You put a story behind those beads. You get content, and you draw people in with the story behind the bead. Okay.
I'm writing that one down. You know I got all that in here.
Yeah. Some beads are selling like hotcakes.
So it even be even more if I'll take that little bead and I Kundalini Reiki charge it, huh?
Well, now you're talking about putting something on something else, you're gonna need product liability insurance on that. So that's
right,
not
somebody can say something like, "Oh, that affected me," and then they might try to come back for you. Yeah,
correct.
I got it.
I'm glad I asked that because I was wondering how does this product liability insurance work. I know it's like for food, but also like with that.
Correct. So I'm answering Amani's question as to how somebody's gonna make money fast. So you got to put something in place where you don't need all the additional pieces. Once you start rolling the money, now you can start investing in the other things because you need other things to make that go safely, to protect you from lawsuits and people taking all your money or your company's money and all of that. Now, this is what rich people do when that stuff starts to happen, because they're not going to pay anybody and they don't want their insurance to pay out. They're going to file a bankruptcy, okay? As soon as the lawsuit hits, they're going to file a bankruptcy, right? 30 days later, they open up shop under a new entity. Why? Because all of the assets that made the business go belong to a trust that they had a contractual agreement with for use of the assets. So now they haven't lost anything. They can open up the same business under another name and have access to everything to make that business go and grow. Okay?
Okay, so that's why I see a lot of these stores pop up and down and change. You know, a store
Yeah.
be open, and then they'll come back, same people, but doing something kind of different.
Correct.
Because I've seen that before. No,
Yeah.
I've seen that before. I thought you was doing
Yeah,
this. Yeah, I changed over to this. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
buddy.
But that's
That's
the
the trade. Okay. So to answer Amadi's question, if you want to get something going like tomorrow night, right? So you start researching some items tonight. Where can I get the item wholesale? Okay. Because the key to profit is number one, like what Miss Aurorah does. I don't need to spend money on anything that I give to people. It's my information. It's my knowledge, my wisdom, right? I charge a fee. I'm making money. I don't have overhead. There's nothing I need to pay anybody. I don't need to go get anything anywhere. That's the key to profiting. You're gonna spend as little money as possible to get whatever it is that you're selling, and then you sell it for a retail price, wholesale retail, right? So whatever product you want to sell, you're gonna find that product as cheap as you can get it. You're gonna get the product because you gotta see the quality. Because you remember, we're in integrity, right? So we wanna see, does the product stand up to what they say it is? Because I'm not selling no junk, people. I'm not doing that. And we want to make sure that the company is going to ship that product, because this is about us having financial freedom and personal freedom. So we don't want to be sitting home talking about we're going to pack up some boxes, be going to the post office every day. Hey, what we doing? Okay? We want to make sure that that company is going to drop ship our item to our client. Once they say yes, okay, now I'm going to put up an e-commerce page, 1, 2, 3. Now, how am I doing that? I've created a legal entity. I done got a business merchant account for that legal entity, opened up a bank account for that legal entity. Now I'm ready to collect the money, okay? So I found a product. It's cheap. I'm gonna sell it for retail, all right? Now I have researched where I'm gonna put my e-commerce site, because right now, if you got a funnel, that's gonna suffice. You want to draw people with your ad for that product to that funnel, because what are you gonna do? People who bought this product also bought this product.
Right.
Okay? So now you got to upsell. So by the time that person is finished off your page, they done bought 2 or 3 things, because it all works together. You see what I'm saying? So that's making money in your sleep. And the person in the company that you got the product from does all the work. They did the work. All you did was research, pick an item, and started selling it. That's all you did.
I get it.
So that's your answer, Amadi.
Yes, thank you. I'm glad I asked that question.
Yeah, you're welcome, Amadi.
But I have one to piggyback off of that. Just say, like, for instance, like the essential oil component. Like and to me, I would be more prone to do a body oil personally. But how would I get my audience of people to sell? Where would be a good place to advertise that you have this product, even without the distributor, in the meantime, until you find that?
Where would you get the product from if you don't have a distributor?
Where would you post that you're selling these things?
Advertisement.
Advertisement.
Yeah. Like, you know how you go on Amazon and you type in what you're looking for and it'll extract that? Like, where
you got a store on Facebook, you got a store on YouTube, on all your social medias got stores.
Yeah, they do.
You can do that. Now you can do that, but Ms. Aurorah, remember now, Sister Bell, I'm the 7-figure queen, so that means I ain't sharing nothing with nobody, right?
Right.
Hey, hold on. I need some. Gotta give her some love on that one.
Bell on that.
I'm not sharing to the wrong somebody.
Exactly.
Right. Okay.
Exactly.
There you go.
You got that one. Thank you.
Need some love on that
Get
one.
me right, Aurorah. That's why I need you in my life. Get me right.
Yeah. You don't want to get up on any of those platforms because they're going to charge you a fee on top of your merchant fees. Like, at the end of the day, the numbers have to add up. So
Right.
they're not really gonna add up if you're sharing the money with Facebook, if you're sharing the money with YouTube. So it's not gonna work. That's why I'm suggesting a funnel page where you create a sales page that has a shopping cart attached to it, which would be from your merchant. Your merchant shopping cart is attached to the funnel page, okay? So when people buy from you, the only fee that you're paying is your merchant fee of maybe 2.9% of each sale. No additional fees to share with a platform that is letting you ride off of their audience.
Right.
Okay, this is why Amazon is having the hard time that they're having right now, because people have woken up. I used to have a large Amazon store, and I said, wait a moment, these numbers are not adding up. This is not my business. This is Amazon's business. And they're holding my money and giving me a check every 2 weeks. What that sound like to you?
You
Employees.
working. Employees.
Yeah.
Exactly. I said, no. People have been hoodwinked, led astray, and bamboozled up in Amazon. That had to stop. And they charge all kind of fees.
They didn't burn Amazon down in LA for hoodwinking people. They didn't got tired of that.
Yeah, they did.
That's right. Okay. And their
Burnt them
shareholders has come against the CEO and everything. Them shareholders don't like the fact that we in a pandemic and you telling people you're not gonna give them a break, and if they don't want to come to work, they're just not gonna get paid. Like, he did them dirty. And the shareholders don't like it. They holding him to the fire. So he might be the next person that we see become before Congress and all that stuff, like they did little Zuckerberg. But anyway,
He needed to be down, but anyway.
you want to have a vehicle that you control. You control. And
Yeah.
you control the money.
Yeah.
Only third party you want.
Shay.
That's right. Is the party that is selling you the product for wholesale and shipping it to your client.
That is there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, shit.
Especially because we were wondering too, like when they did that, like when they put you in Facebook jail, what happens to your store and stuff like that? Like, are you still selling and all that? So,
Yeah. You know, I'm trying to get off Facebook, but I got so many ties that's in it, so I'm still there. And my first time I think day before yesterday, my first time they ever took something down, I posted. Because I always remember that I always knew that they took people's shit down. And they took down the post of the brother that was speaking about, I can't remember, it was a Black Lives Matter during all this pandemic. And he was he just broke it down like it's supposed to go. He went inside Congress and was telling them off. I can't remember his name because they took it down. Because but he was in Congress. He was in a Congress meeting talking and really broke him off. And so it was already on YouTube. So I was looking at it and I said, damn, he really told their ass where to get off at. And I posted it. Then the next day they took it down. They said this content has been taken down because whatever.
It violates their
whatever it was. But I said, I said this don't make no sense here for them to take that down, but they have all this other shit up. So I'm like, yeah, I'm ready to get off of Facebook, but I'm kind of thinking it's one way that I'm staying connected to my family and stuff is why I was hanging on in there. You know, but I really like to use my mind's Facebook. When I see you and we get together, that's the kind of Facebook, because I didn't learn this virtual shit here is pretty weird. Unless you know them personally. You talk to them face to face before. But if you never been in the same atmosphere with someone, it get kind of weird. It gets really weird.
well, I'm glad Aurora talked about the funneling and doing that, because I hadn't heard people talking about it as much lately. So I was like, was that a fad? Did it die out and stuff like that? So
the funnel is going to save your business, because see, people are catching up with the universe that likes speed. So see, they don't want to go through picture. Like, this is not a window shop. I saw the ad for this product. I want to buy this product. Take me to where I can buy this product and let me go.
Right.
But that's what people are on right now.
Okay.
Wow, this is so helpful. Like I'm just like I don't even know what else to say except thank you.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. This is so wonderful, and again, I just thank you. That's all. I honestly I can't even say any other words.
That's
and
right.
I guess
Sheila said awesomeness.
Huh?
Sheila said awesomeness.
Yes,
Awesomeness.
yes.
Got a quick question.
Yeah.
question. What's the
I
difference
wasn't ready. I ain't even know.
Somebody's
between the funnel page and
speaking.
That's Vicky.
the landing page?
Okay. A landing page is where somebody's going to land from your advertisement. That is the landing page. Okay. That landing page is actually a sales page where you're giving the result. So as soon as they hit the landing page, they get to see whatever the product is and whatever the result is for that product. So you can either have a long form sales landing page, or you can have a short form sales landing page. So like if you're gonna do something for the dog, just an example, you might want to, you're gonna see the product up there, but you might have a video of dogs running around, because the result of whatever you're giving the dog gives them what? Youthfulness, because they're aging dogs. So their youthfulness, and they're going to help them with their hip and joints. So you see dogs who are aged dogs, but they're still running around and all that. See, people get the visual. They want to see that, right? And then you go under the video and you're telling them, there's no bad ingredients in here. It only has the best organic. And then they're like, yeah, because they're going to treat the dog better than they treat a baby. Okay? Oh, you got everything. And then the next space is buy now.
Hey,
that's it.
Click.
And then push the button.
Yeah, I know. I be trying not to click all the time. Like, oh no, this click is dangerous.
Yeah. And you do the same thing for a baby product. But you gotta have happy babies, no crying babies. A baby that you might like, okay, bouncing around, a parent playing with the baby, and that ties the emotion of the mother who's looking to buy this thing for this baby, okay? And then you hit them with a buy now button. That's it. See, it's not rocket science.
It's a technique. It's a foolproof technique.
Correct.
And I kind of learned some of the stuff you're talking about with through the internet when I try to open up my own little landing page and stuff. Landing page, funnel page, all those things, they're needed. But at first, all this was out there, and then it disappeared when they start talking about Amazon and these other little places that you can buy into, and they do all that for you, and they take your money, taking your money instead of what you're saying is doing it yourself.
Yeah, because that's not your business. You're helping Amazon, and
Right.
Let me tell you what they do to you, because it happened to me. I sourced the product overseas, got the thing cheapest price. It was wonderful. That thing starts selling. Now you're gonna make a lot of money because it's gonna sell all day long, right? When Amazon sees that their product is selling like that, they go and make the product themselves, come next to you in the buy box and sell it cheaper. Now you're not making any money anymore because Amazon is selling that product. That's what they do to people.
Wow, and I can see that, and they probably would do that with books too.
That's what they do.
That's what Billy.
They sell it cheaper. They sell it cheaper, and they catch the buy box, and then the buyer buys from Amazon.
I'm guilty of that because I've actually done that. Bought something because Amazon had it cheaper than somebody else.
Exactly.
But not like trying to out, the other person. Just oh, this is cheaper on Amazon, and it's Prime, and I know if it's on Prime, I'm going to get it delivered. You know what I'm saying? So
exactly. So they.
I got a story with that I heard today about the Amazon doing that. Billy Carson. I don't know if y'all know him. He's
Ben Carson.
a new teacher coming up, Forbidden Knowledge. Powerful brother. He said, now he got his book out. His book was on Amazon. It's not no more.
He
said,
snatched it off.
yeah, he said you only can buy that Forbidden Knowledge. I guess if there is some on Amazon, it's just what they had left.
What they have left.
What they had left. But he said, no, none of that happened again. You get my books at Forbidden Knowledge. And he got his own, and I'm seeing that this is happening more and more and more. Exactly. It first started with the music industry. Yeah. Everybody, what you call it? Tiny dots? I don't know. They be their own producer and everything, and they get all these royalties. I forgot the name of that. But it happened, it started there. And now it's here. And for the internet thing, people are going to start doing their own stuff, doing it themselves instead of going with a corporation to do it for them. Because they wait for the money.
Correct. Because you will get robbed. And Victor says she has Ben Carson's book. Now I'm going to have to get the book. Because now.
Oh, you got to get the book. We have it too. Maybe we can read it and talk about it together.
Oh, that'd be awesome to us.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Tablets. Let's do that.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, yeah.
This is you guys. I mean, how does everybody else feel about that? That's here. Are you open to that?
Yes, book study. Wow.
Well, yeah, we can do it. We can do a book study on Emerald tablets. Now,
yeah, let's do that.
I read three. I read 3 books on the Emerald tablets. Billy Carson, The Ancient Future by got his name, Ancient Future, and the Emerald Tablets itself. I can't remember who written it. And those 3 books that I read, they are kind of different, but they still basically the same. Is this book? This is Billy Carson's book, and he goes in on Thoth.
On Thoth.
On Thoth, Thoth, Tahuti. He got many names, and he talked about the 7 axons of the universe: vibration, mental, correspondence, all these things. But yes, then he go into the forbidden knowledge aspect of it too, that the part that you'll never hear. And for the brother is pretty deep, and this where I'm at now, when I've been reading this, he just ties up all the ancient civilizations. And one thing that he do that I learned from Dr. Smalls was you must just position all these deities together from every place of the world, and when you just position them, you will see that all of them, their energy and what they for and their duties, they align up. Their name may be different, but all across the world there is a sun god. Everyone has Ra. Is in Emmett, is in Kemet. You got Krishna in Vedas. You got Anu in Mesopotamia. They all sun gods though. And they all have a entourage with them. Some and all around the world, and the entourage all have a certain ability. And if you look at that, you see they all are the same but different names. So in my knowledge, I've seen that when you start studying ancient civilizations and ancient texts, they all saying the same thing, but it's just different people saying it a different way. They said a different way, and then religion comes along and get it all, and say that this is a divine word of God and make you believe it. When they took it from the ancient text, they were telling these stories. Everything that's in the Bible is a story and a technique, and most of it have to do with astrology and spiritual body makeup, the pineal gland, the chakras. If you really look at it, because a lot of stuff is really astrology and technology. Yes, it is. But then people make it that this is the undisputed word of God. In one sense that. All right, here's one way how he put it together. How I put it together through what he was saying is that like you would have the set of people that call Hebrew, right? You have the set of people called the Archimedes. Then you have a set of people called what they do? Uh, uh, okay, the Jewish, the Kabbalists, whatever. Everybody is talking about the same thing, but a lot of times in Hebrew, the Hebrew language was just basically describing human being. The human being. Yahweh is the DNA strand of a human. Yahweh, he was from this knowledge that all the Hebrew information was talking about the body, makeup of the human body, and astrology, and your chakra system, just your how everything works. Your third eye, all that is in Hebrew. You can find that because that what Hebrew means. Eye and head.
Wow.
What that mean? Eye and head. And okay, and then you have the Netaru, right? And then how he put this together is that in the Bible, when somebody was reading, they'll say, and God caused the flood to do this. And so they'll say that Yahweh in the Bible has caused the flood. But it's not Yahweh who caused the flood, because Yahweh, the language of Yahweh is the human being. The God was somebody totally different. It was Enki or Enlil or something like that from out of the ancient Texas.
Yeah.
It's well, I'm not as a scholarly as this brother the way he put it together, but it just takes some time to look at a couple of these videos, and then he'll put it all together. And also he goes into the flower of life, sacred geometry, goes into the whole understanding of the solar cycles, and like right now, what's going on right now? Okay, all right.
One moment, Ray, because Sheila says she got to get the book. Sheila, you can listen to it on YouTube. It's on audio book on YouTube.
Yeah, this book is on YouTube.
Then. I got it then. I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna listen to that.
I'll send you the picture.
Okay.
I'll put it. I'll embed it in the thread, and then I'll send it to you. But I was gonna say, before we
we gotta go.
Before we go, I just wanted to say, since there's an interest, and Vicky said she's having the book. Ray and I both have our own copies of the book. Aurorah, you have the book too, right, Aurorah?
I listened to it on YouTube.
Oh, okay, but I was just gonna say that this for anybody else that may be interested, maybe on like July 9th, we can start talking about it, like maybe the first 2 chapters on July 9th. So whoever doesn't have it, you'll have time to get it and start reading through it. And we can just really talk about it. Really, I think that'd be a great summer discussion, because and then check out some of his videos, because he really is a quite interesting person. That he really is. I feel like in his studies, he's bringing it all together to show you, to break it down, not necessarily separating one thing from another. So I just think it's worth talking about since it came up in this conversation.
Yeah.
So July 9th.
July 9th.
Yeah. So and that way, and I'll put the book in the thread on in Messenger, so everybody can see, whoever doesn't have it, and that way you have enough time to order it so it can get shipped to you.
Okay.
And so I just so that's that. And all I want to say is, wow, like I just thank everybody who's here for being here in this moment. And I know this is not an accident. You were called. If you're here tonight, I'm serious. You were called here, and that's really is about best I can say it. And I just thank you so much, Aurorah, for blessing us with this information, this activation. And and I feel like some time for implementation to start doing something, because even without having all the parts to put together, I feel like you've given us enough information to start brainstorming what it is. What is this product? What is this service? How can I get started to start making this happen? And then and for all of us who are more interested in learning more, she just said that she offers a strategy session for $275 to help you get on your feet to start mowing this thing forward. So, and that's generous, to me. to get that going. And thank you. And so I know what my steps, next steps. I know what our next steps are. When I talk to my husband about this, but I'm ready to take off. And I want to thank you again for this affirmation.
Welcome.
Yes, and I have written it down. And I was gonna say, hey, listen here. I have a lavish, steady, dependable income. And I thank you.
You're
I'm
welcome.
good.
And you're welcome,
That
Amadi.
has. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank
All
you,
right.
Amadi.
I
Okay.
gotta go, you guys. Love you guys.
All right.
I have
See you,
to take
everybody.
care.
Good
All
night.
right.
Bye.
Good
Good
night,
night.
Bye, Miss
everybody.
Terry.
All right.
Bye,
Good
Hey.
night.
Vicky.
All
Bye,
right.
Sheila.
Before everybody go, I'm gonna say this. We missed out on our meditation today. So next time we're really gonna double up.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
Okay?
I love the
Thursday.
meditation.
We're
all
gonna
right.
double up. So we missed it
Okay.
this time. It got late. We double up next time.
We'll
Yes.
be ready.
Self
All right.
consciousness.
We're gonna talk about the summer solstice.
I
So
shall.
next week.
Okay.
Ashe.
I
I
say.
shall.
Bye,
Night.
y'all.
Guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Peace.
Okay, let me stop recording. Bye.